Through the history of this particular existence of human beings in this world, there have been highly intellectual, very enlightened people who have been giving us a constant inputs to elevate our consciousness to the higher level. From being hunter gatherers to Homo sapiens, the increased consciousness that we have now been gifted, how to best use it for elevating our existence and the meaning of our existence. This is why we need guardians. And today we are going to listen to the voices of some guardians who are very relevant in the 21st century. I'll start with a small story. A renowned Sufi master traveled from the city of Nishapur to Baghdad. He was very famous and his reputation was very well known. And he was supposed to talk to the intellectuals and the students in an inn in Baghdad. So there was a large gathering of people, scholars, very well dressed, people who wanted to listen to some deeper wisdom. And there were also a lot of beggars and bumps who were mixing up with the crowd in the inn. Then they found that there was this particular one person who was smelling so foul, smelling of wine, ragged, dressed in a very dirty and shabby dress, moving about among the crowd, scrutinizing all the audience one by one. Slowly he moved to the podium and started addressing the people. And he said, I came to address the people to tell them what they should know, but from the look of it, it looks like you all know something which I thought I should tell you. And with that, he just walked out of the inn. Now, this great Sufi master was none other than Athar. The story reminds us of the modern society mistakenly judges people, things based on shallow surface level values. Having book smarts or achieving intellectual dominance over others is not the same as possessing real wisdom. True wisdom means living a meaningful, grounded life that honors basic human decency and a connection to the divine. There are basically two paths to knowledge. When it comes to human intelligence, there are two completely different ways we can choose to acquire and use knowledge. The first type dominates today's world through science and technology, focusing heavily on exploiting people and natural resources for profit. This aggressive, tech driven approach has resulted in massive inequality, creating wide social economic gaps between rich and the poor. This same exploitative mindset has caused severe, widespread damage to our planet's fragile ecosystem. The second type of knowledge comes from deeply understanding nature's biodiversity and seeing how all living things are interconnected and contribute to our existence. Because humans possess highly advanced level of awareness, this path reminds us of our responsibility to protect, preserve, and enrich all creation. So today I will invoke three masters of the 21st century who are highly advanced in their awareness and communicated as teachers and as practitioners. These three specific people are Dr. Jane Goodall, who was a great example. Goodall reminds us of guardianship isn't passive stance or a burden meant for someone else. It is an active, daily choice woven into human empathy and the power of individual agency. You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do make a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you are going to make. And I will quote from her many famous sayings, one that which is very relevant to what I have been now saying. I quote, only if we understand, we will care. Only if we care, we will help. Only if we help, shall we be saved. The next person I would like to invoke is late Pope Francis and his encyclical Laudato Si. This is a moral and social duty In his landmark encyclical Laudato Si on care of the common home, Pope Francis reframes environmental stewardship. He moves it beyond mere conversation, call it a profound spiritual obligation, intimately tied to human justice. I would like to quote a couple of sentences from this particular document, Laudato Si. 1. Living our vocation to be protectors of God's handiwork is essential to life of virtue. It is not an optional or secondary aspect of Christian experience. The next quotation is, we have to realize that true ecological approach always becomes a social approach. It must integrate questions of justice in debates on environment, so as to hear both the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. This is verse 49 of Laudato Si. And third, I would like to invoke late Dr. E.O. Wilson, the biological imperative. Affectionately known as the father of biodiversity, Wilson brought a rigorous scientific lens to our role as stewards. He continuously warned that destroying the biosphere is an act of collective self-destruction. And he says, the earth is our home. Unless we preserve the rest of life as a sacred duty, we will be endangering ourselves by destroying the home in which we evolved and on which we completely depend. The next quote is, destroying rainforests for economic gain is like burning a Renaissance painting to cook a meal. And the final one that I would like to invoke from E.O. Wilson is, the commitment must be deeper, to let no species knowingly die, to take all responsible action, to protect every species and race in perpetuity. What are the key takeaways from what I have just now told you? Though these three icons approach the environment from entirely different angles, Goodall through human empathy, Pope Francis through faith and justice, and Wilson through evolutionary science, they arrive at the same conclusion. We are not masters of this planet, we are its trustees. I think this is the message that I wanted to give you in this short video. Take this into yourself, and wherever you can become an agent of this empowering life of everything that is connected around us. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a great life.